Hello, my name is Jessamine Anderson. I'm with the Bayaud Career Center, and today I'm going to teach you about your Google Drive. Yes, if you have a Gmail, you have a Google Drive. And what that is essentially an online software that allows you to make documents, spreadsheets, allows you access to a calendar, a PowerPoint creator, and essentially gives you free storage up in the cloud for you to save all kinds of documents or photos on the internet that you can then access from any computer anywhere in the world, as long as you have your internet connection and you remember your password. So let's get started. Okay, so here I am. I'm in the Bayaud Career Center's email, and I want to draw your attention to these 9 boxes in the upper right-hand corner of my screen. Beep, beep. You see up here? Okay, if I click on those 9 boxes, you'll see quite a few options that drop down. These are all worth going through, poking around. You'll see that they have all kinds of good stuff that I'm sure I'm never going to use. But what I want you to draw your attention to is this triangle right here. This is the Google Drive. And so if you have, like I said, a Gmail, you have access to this. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, here we are. This is the Bayaud Career Center Gmail's Google Drive. You'll see, let me move my beautiful face. You'll see that there's all kinds of folders and files in here. And so let me show you a little bit around. If you're in your own Google Drive, you might notice that there's all kinds of files in here that you have never intentionally saved on your Google Drive, but yet they still exist. Have no fear. That's kind of what happens from time to time if you're sending attachments over Gmail, or if you've accidentally hit the download to Google Drive, they will exist in here. And that brings me back to the coolness that is Google Drive, is that it is free storage that you can access from anywhere, up to 15 gigabytes. And you'll see that right here, up to 15 gigabytes you have, and you can keep stuff in here. It's especially useful for resumes or for schoolwork, anything like that. Now, also keep in mind that it syncs with your phone. So if you have the Gmail app or the Google Drive app or the Google Docs app on your phone, you will be able to access all of the same stuff. So in here are my Google documents right up in here. I have a Google PowerPoint in here as well, and I have some folders. And so you can have multiple different ways to organize this. You see right up in here, I'm right there. There's different ways of viewing all of your documents. If I click this grid view button, you'll see that everything turns into kind of photo format, with the exception of my folders that stay there. I prefer to see things listed out so that I can see the last modified. This helps you really find what I'm looking for much quicker. Now, let's say you have all kinds of good stuff on here and you want to put it in a folder like I did. The way you do that is you go to this new button and you select folder. Okay, so if I hit folder, it will give me the option to name it. So I'm going to name this is this folder. I'm going to create it, and there it is. This is my new folder. I just made that. Let's say I'd like to store something into my new folder so that I can get all nice and organized. I wanted to put these attendee notes in here. I believe if I just do some click action, I hold my mouse down over the notes and I drag it up, I can now let go and drop it into that folder, like so. So now those attendee notes live within my folder. Great. Now I want to show you some of the great features that Google Drive has. And if anyone's familiar with Microsoft Word, these are basically the Google version of Microsoft Word, which is great because Microsoft Word is not a free service. You do need to pay for that subscription. So let me show you how to create a Google Doc. Again, it's this new button. Go ahead and hit that. And if I hit Google Doc, you'll see that a third window will open here. So here's my new Google Doc. This is the body of my paper. I can do most everything I could do on a Microsoft Word doc with the exception of a few things, but I do have access to fonts. I have access to sizes, bold, italicized, underline. I can insert tables and charts and horizontal lines and all kinds of good things. So this, if I wanted to save my document, I would click up in here where it says Untitled Document. It now currently does not say Untitled Document because I somehow put in this globberyglook up in the title, but I could call it Google Suite Class. And when I click out, it will now be saved as Google Suite Class. One feature of Google Docs that is different from Microsoft Word is that it saves automatically. So there is no file save button. As you'll see, there's no way for you to go and file and save. It automatically updates where you see last edit was seconds ago. If you watch up in this area while I type something, it will say that it's saving. You see that? Now it's saved to your drive. So if I wanted to close this and come back to it later, I could just hit the X, and rest assured, it will exist now in your Google Drive. Let's just scroll down and find it. And here it is, your Google Suite Class right there. So I come back to my computer later, I want to open it. All I have to do is double click on it, okay? And there it is in all its glory. So that's how to make a new document within Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And I want to show you how to make a Google Doc with a template. For all of you that may be looking to create a really nice new looking resume or a budget or some type of timeline, anything really artistic or with some different formatting features that you're not comfortable doing yourself, or you just want Google's input, you would hit New, and then right where we clicked prior Google Docs, there's this side arrow, and if you float over it, you'll see that there's an option from a template. So if you click on that, you will now have the option to choose from any of these templates. As you see, there's project proposals, resumes, cover report pages. Now there's all different kinds of resume templates. So you don't have to choose the first one that you see. Go ahead and search them all. There's letters. If you, like I said, wanted to write a cover letter, this might be a really handy dandy place to go and look into so that you can potentially format it in a nice way. So let me show you. I'm going to click on this resume template. And that's what we're working with. Pretty awesome. So it does save in real time, like I told you. The thing you have to do, though, to make sure that you're saving something is just make a change. The moment you make a change to this document, it will automatically save it, and then it will live in your Google Drive. So I'm going to call this resume number 1. And if I exit out of it, let's go make sure it exists in my Google Drive. Okay, here we are, resume number 1, right there. Perfect, that's what we wanted. So another really nice feature of Google Drive is that you can upload documents from your computer that are Microsoft Word documents, or PDFs for that matter, spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoints, all of those extensions, you can upload them onto your Google Drive. Let me just show you an example of that. So if I were to hit New, this second option here, File Upload, would allow me to go to my computer and select what file I'd like to have exist on my shared drive. So I'm going to click File Upload. It will pop open my computer. So from within my computer, I would be able to go in and grab a document. If I were to double click on that, it would take it, download it, which you'll see right below my face here. It's uploading it. And here it is, right here. This is the document I just had that existed on my computer and now exists on my Google Drive. So that's pretty handy. If I were to double click on this, it would pop up as a Word document, but I could open it in a Google Doc. So let me show you that. Okay, so you'll see that this is a Word document preview. Now, if I wanted to make changes to this from my Google Drive, I would just open it up with Google Docs. And here we are. So now I've uploaded that document from my computer onto my Google Drive, and I've opened it up in my Google Docs. And from within here, I can make changes and it will save onto my Google Drive. Great. So we've learned how to make a new file from within Google Docs. We've learned how to upload files from our computer onto our Google Drive. And now I want to show you how to share a file. And what that is essentially it's a tool to allow multiple people to collaborate on one specific file in real time. So I could be editing my resume and want help from some of my family or some of my comrades. I could share the document with them and they could log in from their own computer and start making edits, and we could see everyone making edits all at the real time. Let me show you. Okay, so in order to share a document, you go to File, Share. This is going to pop open a window where you can start to type email addresses of people that you know in. So I could type in, I know I want VB to look at this. I know I want Linda to look at this. I know I want Jessman to look at this. And that might be about it. If I wanted to tell them, hey, you guys, this is my resume. I'd like some input. Then that's all I'd have to do. I click send, and it would generate an email to these three people that I'm sharing it with saying, hey, Jessman is sharing a document with you. They would then be able to click that link and go into the document and start editing it in real time. Now, another way I could do this is just by getting a link. Right here is a link to this very document that if I were to copy and paste this link and share it with anyone, then they would be able to click it and also likewise come into this document and start editing it. So those are two separate ways to share your document with people, both really awesome. When you do have multiple people on the same document, you would see up here, right where my mouse is, I don't know if you can see it kind of floating, you would see how many people are currently in your document. There could be there could be up to 50 people, 100 people all on the same document. And as they make changes to this document, you'll be able to see what they're typing because there's a little colored indicator of who's typing what. So it's a jazzy feature. I highly recommend you use it. So now that you know the basics of how to access your Google Drive, start a new document, organize the files from within your Google Drive, and share files, all of that main foundational knowledge stays the same, but there are cool other features that you might want to use while you're within your Google Drive. So I'm going to show you Google Sheets, which is a lot like Microsoft Excel. So the handy dandy new button is where you're going to start. If you click new, you'll see this Google Sheets is this white cross on a green rectangle. If you click that, voila, you have a sheet. So I won't go into depth on how to use a sheet, but if you've ever used Microsoft Excel, you'll notice that it has a lot of the same features. Again, it has the share button up at the top right-hand corner, which is not what I showed you how to use, but you can do the same thing by doing file share, get multiple people on here. You can make tables. You can color things, all the stuff. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and show you how you can make a template. Okay, so just like how in Google Docs, you can get some pretty advanced templates if you'd like them. You can do the same thing with Google Sheets. So it's new, Google Sheets, hover over Google Sheets over that arrow, and you'll see from a template emerge. And now I have all kinds of templates to choose from budgets to invoices to calendars. You want to impress your boss and throw together a smashing invoice that's just going to blow her away because of all the cool formatting. Go ahead and grab a template. They've got a lot going on, even down to to-do lists. They've got all kinds of cool templates here. So that's templates. Great. Now I'm briefly just going to show you Google Slides, and it's a lot like Google PowerPoint if you've ever had the chance to use that. So Google Slides, if you hit the new button, you'll see drop down. If I hit that, you'll see what opens up is very similar to PowerPoint. All right, so this is Google Slides. You'll see on your right there are multiple different templates and variations you can choose from to jazz it up, add some spice. You have features to insert photos, you can insert new slides, duplicate slides, and you can, of course, share this PowerPoint with other people and have many of your friends on here to help create the same PowerPoint presentation. So that's Google Slides. Last but not least, I want to show you your Google Calendar. It's very similar to Microsoft Outlook, and for those of you that don't know how to use Outlook calendaring but would like to for maybe a job that you are looking to get, then I would recommend you practice on Google Calendar because it has a lot of the same features, the sharing feature, timing feature, inviting feature, all kinds of the same features that are basically the same. So up in this 9-boxed area is going to be your Google Calendar. If I hit that, I see it right next to my Google Drive. So without further ado, here we are. Here's my Google Calendar. So I want to show you how to create a new invite, which is right here in the same area as the new button was in our Google Drive. I hit create, and this is going to pop up. Now, pretty straightforward. I'm going to add the event. I'm going to say we have a Google Suite class that's coming up on Tuesday, November 3rd. I'm going to have it start at 2:30 to 3:30. And I'm going to invite some people. So again, I want to have Justman attend this. You can add a location. So I can put in the address of the meeting place. Right where it says add description is where you might want to add a little bit about what the meeting will be. Google Suite class to learn about docs, sheets, and calendar. So if I save, it's going to ask me if I want to send an email to the people that I've invited. Yes. And now the one lady that I've invited, Justman Anderson, will get an email and she will be allowed to accept the event or not. But you can see it here on Tuesday the 3rd. I have at 2:30 a Google Suite class that's coming up. The other features of your Google Calendar are the ability to view just a month at a time, a week at a time, or a day at a time. I prefer a month, but if you'd like to change how you see your schedule, you can, let's say, choose a day and you will be able to see the events in your day, or you can choose a week at a time, whatever suits your fancy. All right, you guys, so that was how to use your Google Drive. It is a really great alternative to having the Microsoft Word programming on your computer, which, like I've mentioned before, is not free. It is also a really great way to access files that you've stored on your Google Drive from anywhere in the world, as long as you remember your Google password and you have internet. And the third feature that I think is really amazing is that it's a wonderful way to be able to share and collaborate on a document with multiple people at the same time. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Try out all of those amazing apps, poke around, see what Google has to offer. It's quite a bit, but have fun. Thank you and have a good one.